Wednesday, I was told that I heard on the radio that I'd been fired. I mean, when I left, yes, there was a business opportunity at King Faisal, which I got involved in. Not a King Faisal supporter, but it's still my roots in Kumasi. It was not meant to take on Kotoko. It was not one of those things that you set it up to take on Kotoko. I'm a Kotoko supporter. I always will be a Kotoko supporter. There's no confusion in my mind, which is why when I left Kotoko, I didn't try and take players or go onto radio to split the Kotoko family. People were calling me every day to do that, but I wouldn't do that. People wanted me to respond as people went on radio insulting me, abusing me. It's the normal thing that happens in Kotoko, but I decided to say, publicly anyway, nothing at all. King Faisal was a business opportunity with the wrong business partner. Okay, but certainly it did for me within the period of 1 year, enabled us to show what excellence in football is about. And for that 1 or 2 years, King Faisal was the #1 team in Ghana. He may not have won the league, but everybody knew that when you came against King Faisal, they were the fittest, they were the toughest, tactically the most adept. And I think of all the teams I've been associated with, they were the most disciplined players. The King Faisal players were extraordinary. You know, I used to bring fitness trainers from South Africa, where we'd do medicals on them. You know, we introduced Medicare for the players and all other different kinds of formula. And the King Faisal players were definitely the most special of the players. I set up SOS Networks, which is a brains trust. It still exists to this day, and we do business in some other parts of Africa, not so much in Ghana. And we were approached at the time by some people at Ash Gold. There were a few clubs who approached us to help resolve issues. One, people think that raising money through sponsorship and the rest is magic. You know, it's not magic. You know, it needs a fundamental rebranding of a product in terms of how the product is seen, in terms of possible sponsors. And a number of them came forward. And then suddenly, out of the blue, we got a call from Hearts of Oak, which was a big surprise, because within the SOS network structure, there were 2 or 3 of the people who were involved. Philip Addison, my lawyer, Hearts of Oak. You see, so it was a business. It wasn't a subshoot of Kotoko. So when it is that Hearts of Oak people then came through, we were sitting here saying, they want a former chairman of Kotoko on a consultancy basis, that's what it was, to assist them restructure Hearts of Oak, because Hearts of Oak had sank, bottom of the top 4, going nowhere, aging team, no plans to replace them, you know, they were no longer in power, I don't think, the NDC. So the influence over the system and the things that go with the people who have that kind of influence had waned. So I found it fascinating. I actually found it very fascinating that they would come up with that. And I had a lot of respect at the time for the custodians of the team, Nana Reku Hampim, Atu Ahoy, who I'm exchanging my own counter punches with these days, and Professor Mills and the rest of them, because I'm not an easy person to work with unless you are totally transparent, open, clear in terms of how you operate with me. Otherwise, you'll be embarrassed. Okay? But they came forward, and some of the criteria for SOS is that they had to now open their books to us. And they did. So we have all of Hearts of Oak's financials. We have things that nobody is meant to see, which enabled us to do a proper analysis in a short space of time as to what would be required to turn this team around on the field and off the field. We're big on off the field. Get it right off the field, give yourself 2 years on the field to be correct. But we knew we had a 1-year mandate to do this. So to fix it on the field, as well as trying to get it right off the field. Now off the field, after showing us the books, then they decided, no, we don't want you to do this, which is fine. It's fine. We were able to raise some sponsorship for Hearts of Oak in that season. And then as a consultancy, SOS Networks then took the formula. There's certain concentric ring formulas depending on who you're dealing with. And for us it was very easy. Jacques Naudet, which was psychological, medical, fitness, pre-season. Then it was, for me, the coach for Ghana. That is Middendorf. He may not be the coach for other countries, But here in terms, because the players must believe in that coach. They must have a belief that takes them beyond the 100% mark. Therefore, that was Middendorf. Then it was then taking on Hearts of Oak. So the players they had said were sacked, the older players, the Danquays and the rest of them, to bring them back. Because there was only a month or something like that for them to now enter and play Stade Malien in the Africa Cup. We then created a system, and then knowing the politics within the club, we then had to separate that from the club's politics and then do what had to be done. And it was done very successfully. Move them away from training on the beach, take them through to Legon. It reduced the injuries, taking greater care of what the players were about. And Hearts of Oak have some good guys inside. And it was interesting when you now work with the two clubs. Obviously, I never went to the stadium because in what capacity would I be going there? As an SOS boss or as a Kotoko chairman, former Kotoko chairman. But it worked very well, and Hearts of Oak eventually won the Confederation Cup in Kumasi in the final.